Hi everyone. I'm saying hi before I say hi. I'm going to add this little video in. The past couple times I did videos, I forgot to show you these other FFOs that I did, and I just want to get it over with. So I decided to do two smalls, and I wanted to try something a little different. I wanted to make sort of a pyramid look, and this is just no real pattern. I just sort of went with it, no idea of how I wanted to put it together. These are wonky. I still like them. It is what it is. It's all a learning process, right? So this is my Pumpkin Kiss from Cricut Collection, and I made it into a... What I don't like is the top. I gotta figure out something else. I'm also thinking that maybe next time I'll do mat board and just attach it to the mat board, and that way I can whip stitch the corners together and it'll work a little bit better. And then this one, I decided to do the sloped. I forget it. There's a pyramid that's somewhat like this in Egypt, and I forget what they call it. Anyway, they might call it the sloped pyramid. I forget. Anyway, I don't know who designed this. I don't know if this was Lucy Beam or not, or it might have been a freebie, or it might have been out of a magazine. I don't remember, honestly. I'm sure I showed it in a previous video in 2023. So I decided to do this fabric with it. And again, this top is worse because it's smaller. But I'm not too mad at them. I think they'll be cute. I only filled them with fiber fill. I was thinking about possibly putting walnut shells in with it too. Or putting maybe a little board with a washer, a heavier washer stuck to the bottom. But they're only going to sit there. Who cares? Who cares? They're cute. Now let's get into it. Let me tell you hi again. Give me a second. Hello everyone, this is Vicky Stitchnbutton, and today is November 5th. It's my birthday month. This is Flosstube number 194, and I have stuff. I have an update. I had an impromptu video last week. If you missed it, it is in the playlist under Coffee Break. I went through and I'm going to pull out my all my hibernating for next year. So I went through that and I had a little poll, so I had the results from that. And I will be doing my end of year, so to speak, almost end of year whip parade, because I like to get mine done before December. And it lets me plan before I run out of time for the next year. Well, I have a finish. I don't think I have a start. I do have a finish, and I have the giveaway winners, and I will start, and I have stitching. And what else have I been doing? I've been kind of busy the past couple weeks. I started cutting fabric. I haven't gotten a lot done. It's a slow go this time, but I'm getting there. Past couple of days, we've cleaned out my shed. I have a shed that's about 10 by 14, and it's been perfect weather to do it because Florida's hot, and it's been nice and cool and breezy. So Frank and I have done that. It took us 2 days to get everything, well, almost absolutely everything taken out, get it swept out. We bought a rack and the heavy-duty bins to go on the rack, so that helped get everything fixed up and where it needs to be. I put labels on the boxes. Matter of fact, I put the tape on the box before I even went out there, and I brought a Sharpie marker, and as I was filling the bins, I just wrote what was in it. So the rack helps keep it clean. And what I had a problem with was some of the not so heavy duty bins. They would sit on top of each other and then kind of get crushed. So I got rid of all the broken bins. I emptied out so many, plus I had bought the 10 others that I had empty bins that I wasn't going to use. And I gave those to my neighbor, who happens to be cleaning out. They have a small aluminum shed that's just janky, and somebody gave them 2 small sheds that are better. So they were transferring everything into the other sheds. I gave them bins. So I'm just got to clean them off because they had cobwebs on them and stuff. We are pretty good with our shed. It's a cook's shed and it's very well built. It was an investment and I'm not mad about it. It's anti-pest, so the rodents aren't going to be chewing the wood to get into it because it's special treated. So we haven't had any rodent problems, unlike my neighbor had a rat in hers and she freaked out, rightfully so. And anyway, so that got done and I'm happy with it. We threw a whole bunch of stuff out. Some stuff, the ants. We get ants and lizards in our shed and spiders. So I do put a bomb in there, like a bug bomb, every so often to treat and keep them down to a low roar. But we get lizards in there and they like the nest, and then the carpenter ants don't care about anything. And so they got to some of the stuff, some of the bins that had cracked, and they got in there. It is what it is. So anyway, everything's fixed up. Bunch of trash. Some stuff that was going to Goodwill, like the vacuum cleaner we never use. We don't have carpet, so we don't need a big vacuum cleaner. I have a broom vac. My old Ott light that I just didn't use, and I put it down there. I cleaned that up, and that went. What else is going on? I can't think of anything else. It's made me tired. It took a lot out of me to get all that stuff moved. It was a lot of stuff. It was a big job. Hence the 2 days. And I'm so thankful that we live in a decent neighborhood where I didn't have to worry about anybody stealing the stuff that we left out on the lawn. I mean, we put the weed whacker back in and stuff like that, but we didn't have to pile everything in and come back the next day. Plus, it didn't rain. That was another thing. So, happy days. That's done. I found a whole bunch of yarn. Well, I knew I had the yarn, but I was able to sort through it and separate it from one big giant bin to 3 other bins and label it. And I have a bunch of yarn up here that I can take down there. So that's probably going to happen eventually, but I've got to recover. And I don't know. I don't have anything coming up in the near future. I know Thanksgiving's coming up, and I'm not sure if the kids are going to come over or what's going to happen with that. We haven't made any plans. Running by the seat of our pants, guys. There's always extra turkeys out there somewhere, right? So I had actually, I said I didn't have a start, but technically I did, but I finished it. So it was a start and a finish. So my finish was a new start. And what I'm talking about is Black Cat Moon. And that is by Stitches by Ethel. This little cutie. Now, I don't have a black tart tin, but I did have a silver one. And I'm not mad about it. The silver will work. I'm not even going to try to paint it or anything. And I ended up stitching this on, I want to say I probably went, I don't know if it's 32 or 36 or like 34. Somewhere in between there. But it was a piece, I think it's a piece of fabric from Vicki Clayton, which is usually a 36. I use 2 strands though, because it's loose enough that I could do that. And he's so cute. So cute. I just used the called for DMC. And except for the 3826 it was called for. I didn't feel like I only needed like one little strand of it, and I didn't feel like opening up a whole skein for just one strand. So what I ended up doing was I took 436 or something like that, 463, 436, and used that instead. But I'm happy with it. I need to do an FFO, and apparently I didn't realize I pulled the threads, and I went and pulled them again. And then when I had the fabric was twice as long as it needed to be, so I cut it in half, which means that I now have this chart, this fabric, and the threads, and I'm going to do a giveaway for it. So if you would like this, I'll kit it up, except for needle, and tart tin. I'm not including my tart tin. If you would like this, go ahead and keyword is moon. We'll go with keyword moon. The obligatory giveaway stuff, don't say giveaway. Use the keyword. And if I don't have your address, I do have a link in the description box below. It's my Google sheet, Google form, and just fill it out with whatever information you want to share. Obviously, I'd need an address. And when you put in the address, I think it's all on one line, so make sure you put the city, state, and zip code there, because I've had some that just put the street. Doesn't help when I'm shipping. Alright, give me a second. So, moon. I didn't write that down. I got all this stuff ready, and I didn't write that down for the giveaway. And speaking of giveaways, I do have the results from last video's giveaway, and that was this strawberry fob. And I don't think is there anything in there? Let's see if I said there was anything in there. There's some scraps of the threads in there and the full instructions. So the keyword for this was berry, and Charj57, you won this, and I know I have your address, so I will get that out to you. The other giveaway, hang on, I'm shifting stuff around. The other giveaway was for this Cricut collection, We the People, and the keyword was people, and RV Stitcher, you won again. So RV Stitcher, I have your address, and I will pop this in the mail to you. All right. What do I have left? I have stitching. I'll have another giveaway. I have my purchases, and then I have some plans. Oh, the whip winners. When I say whip winners, if you saw my video about the hibernation stuff coming out, I asked everybody to vote for a whip that they really like, that I'll make sure that I put at least 1,000 stitches on next year, because everything's coming out. And I had some good responses, and I said, put whatever you want in there, as many or as few as you like. It doesn't matter, just name them, and I'll see what's named the most. So I did that, and I took the top 3. I ended up taking the top 3, because why not? The top one was At the Met. That is, I'm not going to take it out of the bag, but it is a memorabilia that I had started, and that's At the Met. So that's going to get 1,000 stitches. That had 11 votes. The runner-up, second place, was Halloween Quaker. Halloween Quaker is by Lita Studios, and that's it. So that one had 6 votes. 6 votes for Halloween Quaker. And then the third place winner is Away We Ride by Blackbird Designs, and that had 5 votes. So all 3 of those, I'm going to go for at least 1,000 stitches next year, if not more. Hopefully more, right? Hopefully we have a bumper crop stitch year. What have I stitched in the last 2 weeks, though? Okay, still on the Q-snap, because I'm not done stitching. I pulled out my whip go that EJ called, and it is Daughter of Africa. It's a Pana kit. I changed out the fabric to 32 count Scorched Rock Even Weave by Fabric Flare, and so far I've put in 249 stitches. When I do the whip co, it's for at least 300. I have a feeling I'm going to put more than 300, because this is one that I said I thought I might finish it by the end of the year. No promises on that, but I do want to get some more block stitching in on this skirt. I ended up having a problem here. Apparently I stitched some of this in the dark, so I had to pick that out and put that back in. So I went and put all the dark stuff in, so that way I'd have just a whole bunch of block stitching to fill in there. And then I was tired and went to bed. And then last night I did not stitch because I was exhausted. I just vegged with my feet up. So she's looking really good. I'm not taking her out of the Q-snap just yet because she's right where I need her. But she's looking good. I do not have, I will show you the picture, by the way. I don't have the moon. Try to get the glare. There we go. I don't have the moon done. I have most of her head done. I have a couple of stitches in the bracelets that I got to fill in and the back stitch for that. I need to do the hat. I think there's a minimal stuff done with the little basket on her head. And obviously all this down here. When I first started this, because I changed the fabric, I was debating on this shadow line, but I think I do want to fill that in. I was looking at that last time I stitched, and I think that needs to be filled in. And then I have some of the blue fill in to also do. It's still not a lot. It's a lot, but it's not a ton. And I'm happy with my progress, and I'm enjoying the stitch, so I'm just going to keep on stitching. Next up, that's going to be on for tonight, by the way. Next up, I did, now whether these are not in order, obviously, if you know me, you know that nothing's in order. I stitched on Tiger Lily, and that was for last month's Whipco call. And this is by Nora Corbett. It's out of print. I borrowed this chart, and I am stitching her on 28 count Lugana called The Child. It's from Live and Die LA, and I ended up putting in like 317 stitches, I think. And this is where she's at. What did I do? I think, I'm trying to remember. I know I did some over here with this gold. I filled in some of that. I know I put those little things in for the wispies that come down, and I ended up filling a lot in here that needed to be done. Because she's got a badonkadonk. But she looks cute. I don't know if she'll come back out this year. I do have all my Whipco calls, and I don't think she's on there. And I have other things I want to stitch. I also, for the categories for the Whipagories, I had to stitch on this winter sampler. I think this was for seasonal. And this is, Jen Lynn hates stitchers. I don't know what else to say. This was the kit. I changed out the kit fabric. I'm almost positive. Yeah, I changed out the kit fabric to a 28 count linen. It's just like tea-dyed linen. Probably came in a roll from Michael's. Anyway, I was stitching from the chart. The chart's a big pain in the butt to read, and I went to the Kohler Designs website and I bought the PDF. It would not go into Pattern Keeper. I had a friend try, would not go into Pattern Keeper, and I let it go for a while. I even emailed them and told them, you said this was Pattern Keeper compatible. It is not. So I ended up wasting like $18, I think, with it, almost $18. It was like 16 something with tax. And it became almost $17, $18. Anyway, so I was frustrated. But then I ended up just pushing that aside out of my mind, and I ended up later buying Markup XP. And I was like, oh, let me see if it goes in there. It did. And it works pretty decent. There's fractionals, which it doesn't know how to deal with that, and that's fine. That's nominal things that I'm not too pressed about, but it's making the stitch a little bit better. I ended up putting 303 stitches on here, and this is where we're at. What did I work on? I'm trying to see. I worked on a little bit of this, but most of it I focused on everything in here. Matter of fact, I was watching some true crime show when I did it. I remember. Anyway, I focused in a lot in on here. There was a little bit of this color to finish off, and then I did some of the yellow or goldish stuff that went into the ribbon. Just trying to finish off that bottom banding. I didn't feel like dealing with the candies over here, because it's a lot of fractionals and got to pay attention real close. I just wanted to stitch. So Markup XP is definitely the way to go if you can. If you can't get it into Pattern Keeper. Put that away. I also don't think this is coming out for the rest of the year. Next up, Animal Magnetism. This is Dimensions, Charts, and Charms. It is out of print, and it is, I love it. It's the chart. I don't want to use the original because it's a big giant piece, and I'm afraid I'm going to rip it. And I mark off my charts. I've tried making photocopies, but because of the blues and the blacks and the same symbols, but it's different colors, it's been a nightmare. I refer to Adobe Acrobat and the regular chart and the photocopy chart constantly. But I'm sticking with it. I'm hanging in there with it. I changed out the fabric because they gave white Aida, and I changed out the fabric to a 28 count linen, which I am, again, sure it's that tea-dyed linen from Michael's or Joann's or something. And it's looking so good. There we go. So what did I do? I had to do, I did it for a category. So I did 400 half stitches. I didn't want to be bothered with having to count and be fiddly and stuff. So I did half stitches in here. I'm mostly white. I filled in a lot of the white. And I say that because while it's not charted to be white, it's charted to be on white fabric, and the blank space was going to be white. Well, then I didn't have any clouds. So I filled in white up there, white down here. I'm just doing 2 strands, half stitch. And then I filled in, I think I filled in some of the green or blue that was missing and that was throwing me off. So I filled in just 400 half stitches. And I've got to work on this month again. And I'll probably go ahead again and try to fiddle with the half stitches here, because the border picks up over here again. And that'll give me a good starting point as to what I want to do around here. There we go. And I say that, and who knows, maybe I'll end up down here. But I still have white to fill in down here. If you notice, I started here, but I have white down here. It's looking so good, guys. So good. Dimensions. It's another one that hates stitchers. Puts out these great things and then craps with the chart thing. I don't get it. I think they should offer a PDF. Speaking of offering a PDF, I don't know if I said it in my last video, in the coffee break video, or with my last video in general, but I found out from someone that Reolus, while they don't sell PDFs or digital copies, if you contact them, you can ask them for the PDF of your chart, because it's kind of hard to read their charts. I do believe either you'd have to use it in a PDF viewer. I'm going to try in Markup XP, and I can get back to you on that. So I emailed them about it. I was like, is it true? And they said, well, we don't offer digital patterns. If you prove to us that you have our charts, we will send you the PDF. Great. So I now have all of my Reolus kits out, and I am going to take a photo, I'll take a picture and email the picture of me with the, with said kits. That way I can get at least the PDF and see if that helps. because they really do have cute charts. It's bad enough you got to work with the wool, but it does end up looking good. So there's that. And then I have one more thing I stitched on, and that would be my 1940 Indian motorcycle. This is Vintage Cycles from Stony Creek, and I am stitching this on 32 count Belfast in Ren from Picture This Plus, and I put in a lot of stitches, guys, and I did them for my gridiron grind because I'm behind. I ended up having to do 2, 5, 8, 1,000, 11, 70, 1,170 stitches, and well, that's what I did, and I am still 2 weeks behind. I thought I was 3 weeks. I am 2 weeks behind on it. I am 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 weeks behind on doing my non-full coverage, but this is my full coverage for the gridiron grind, and I did all those stitches. So what did I do? I put in the light up here. This is Glisten Gloss. I put in the little front here. I did most of this tire, and I finished coming down here with this spoke. Well, it's a brace bar. Anyway, and then over here, and then I did I filled in a lot of the missing part here, except for a couple stitches. There's a mistake on it though. When I did the Glisten Gloss, I grabbed the wrong color, and that's what I did this with. This right here is supposed to be this bright silver. Let me bring it in. So I was looking at it, I'm like, is it that bad? I don't know if it's that bad or not. I'm going to change it. It's fine. And because if you notice that bar, because I think it loops around, it's here too. That's why there's Glisten Gloss there. So I'm going to have to pull that out and redo it. Lovely. Thank goodness there's not tons and tons of this all over it. It's just on some of the chrome features. It's not the spokes. I looked for that. It's not the spokes. So I think it's really looking good. This was for Frank. I showed him the book, and I said, I have this book. Which one would you like me to stitch? So those are on the front cover there. And some of them are repeated on the back, but that's the one he chose. And if you look, there's going to be Glisten Gloss in here, see? It's still not a ton. I'm not mad at it. And I've been working shorter lengths and using beeswax. Just remember, if you use beeswax, it's going to look like it's dulling your thread. Technically it is, but not forever. If you just take a warm iron and an iron cloth, or just a random piece of cloth or a clean towel when you're done, and iron it, that comes right off. Beeswax has a very, very low melting point, and you won't even be able to tell afterwards. That's that. I need to keep this one out. I do have plans. I have plans to... when I was going through my stuff looking for my Realist kits, I found this little sewing kit thing. I've had this forever, and I think it's cute. Now, I'm looking at it, and I'm not sure I like the colors of the felt, because it comes with the felt. Obviously, the cup and the... but I don't know if I like the pink. Might have to change that out. I have wool. Now that I fixed the stuff down the shed, I have wool down there, and I bet you I have a piece, because I think this is wool. I bet you I have a piece that looks better down there. I'm almost positive. So I think I'm going to have to dive into the wool I have, and but I just want to get it done and out of the way. That's the wool I'll hold on to, obviously. And then it came with, it's not there. It came with this button. And this thing was kind of pricey. I don't see the price tag on it now. I bought it a while ago. It was pricey considering, and I thought it came with the pins too. No. For the price that I paid for this, it should have came with the pins. It did not. And that was years ago. That was like 10 years ago. I don't know if I will buy those pins or not, or if I might get the Java pins instead. I don't know. We'll see. Or I might not get any at all, and I might just make it so it hangs up somewhere. How about that? This bag was my friend Connie that passed. That she made me that coffee bag that looks like this, and then she made me this one. And someone sent me this, and I put it on there. I don't think she made it for me, and I can't remember who sent it, but it's really cute. So I put it on here. Anyway, yeah, and I could open up this bag to use for something else. You need to stop whining. I have a treat for you. You want a treat? There you go. What else do I have? I have 6 weeks worth of gridiron grind to put into Space Traveler. That's gonna, I don't know if I'm gonna catch up. Will I ever catch up? Yes, I will. We're gonna catch up. We had a buy this week, so that means I didn't have to do any extra stitches. Wonderful, because I'm still trying to catch up. And how did we win on our bye week, guys? Like, everybody lost. We won on our bye week. What? Oh, guys, I almost had a freak attack right here on this video because I moved. And this was there. I thought it was a tiny spider. It's a piece of fluff. I was moving this. This is the other giveaway chart that I wanted to. So if you would like this is Tree of Lace Samplings. This is the designer. I don't think she's not designing anymore. And I know that on Etsy, her ratings have tanked. And I think it's because she's probably forgot about the Etsy. She got married and she's doing other things. She's a sweetheart. But this is Favored, and it's very prim and cute. And I still kind of want to stitch it, but I'm choosing my battles here. I'm choosing my battles. Highly Favored. It's called Favored. If you would like to win this chart, the keyword is Favored. And I will pull for my next one. So I have got Moon and Favored. All right. In my digging, by the way, in my digging of the shed, I came across some stuff. Just doodads here and there. Somebody had gone to Hawaii that I worked with and brought me back this keychain. So I am going to probably take it off the split ring, and I'm going to put it on a ring to keep it to make it a thread keep. Also, I found this. If you work in theater, you use bobby safety pins for everything, including putting your tag on yourself. I worked on Canterbury Tales when it was Penn State. And obviously in 2001, 24 years ago, I worked on Canterbury Tales. So I found this. I'm not going to make this into a thread keep. Also, I think I'm just going to hang it up. But I am going to make this into a thread keep. I'm going to polish it up. Not like, I'm going to use a polishing cloth on it to make sure it's nice and clean. But I'm going to make this into a thread keep. My mom had gone to see the Secret Garden in New York. Obviously not that specific date, but it was around that year, 1991. And she got me that keychain. I also found this, and I don't remember what it was attached to or who gave it to me. It was probably one of my kids, but it had my name on it. And I'm going to attach this probably more than likely to a scissor pull. I have a scissor fob, because I have a scissor fob that's got keepsakes on it. Anyway, it says my name, and then we were joking around saying, oh God, what does that say? Because dumb white woman that buys Chinese stuff. No, it doesn't. It actually, I use my translator. It actually says my name. in, I believe, I don't want to, I don't know, so it's either Mandarin or Cantonese. It's a Chinese lettering. I don't think it's Japanese. I think Japanese is more square. Anyway, so that's that. I also made some purchases. I got a couple of t-shirts. They were having a clearance sale on my Eagle site, and some of the stuff was from this past Super Bowl. So I ended up getting the NFC champion pins, and I'm going to chop off the backs and make needle minders for Gina and I. And then I purchased some charts. The Little Stitcher had a sale. And, you know, I finished one, so I bought one. But then she had a sale, so then I had to get some more, right? So I bought Dracula. And this is the Little Stitcher on Etsy. I bought Dracula. I think she's only on... She's got a blog, too, by the way. Cinderella. And Hypatia. I think that's how you say. Hypatia or Hypatia. Let me know. And this is, I think, from her Women in Science. This one is from her Women in Science series. She's got like 3. I belong to Witchy Stitcher Patreon. And her Patreon chart is the Boneyard Night Flight. Words and reading backwards. The Boneyard Flight is Krampus and his dudes, his flying dudes. So I printed that out for you guys. And I don't remember if I showed this or not and didn't put it away. I don't remember exactly when I bought it. It's called Trashing Through the Snow. I feel like I showed this to you guys, but maybe not. Trashing Through the Snow. And is it the most beautiful chart in the world? No. But it makes me laugh, so I bought it. What's up next? I'm looking at my notes. Giveaway. Moon and Favored. I'm going to write those down, by the way. We shall give Gunnar one more treat. Give you a treat. There you go. I still have some stitches to do for my Whip Wars with Janice. I am behind on that. To stitch on my fox. I want to also stitch, that's another thing I wanted to go over, was my plans for this month, because everything was cold. So plans for this month. I still have to, I want to stitch some more on Daughter of Africa. Then the other call for Whip Go was Scary Sampler, so I need to stitch on that. And that I bought the PDF for and put that in. For less than 10 colors, I'm going to stitch on You Belong to Me. Has a border. I'm debating on changing it or not, but so far I've picked Santa's Trips. Oldest Whip is going to be the Animal Magnetism that I gave you. That I showed you. And then the sale. I was going to do Extraordinary Birds, but I need to catch up because I'm not going to finish it in time, but I still want to finish it soon. And that's on Put a Bird on it. So I want to put stitches in on that. And then for Flora and Fauna, I want to still try to finish limited edition. And it's got flowers. So Flora and Fauna. For December, because Whip Go was called, we know what the last 2 categories were. And I had Garrett, who was able to pick from anything, and Garrett picked Wizard of Oz, which is my full coverage Wizard of Oz from Hade. And then I had, I forget what the last one was. Oh, hold please. Oh, then Holly had to pick a full coverage, and she picked Let Us Gather to go along with the winter theme since it's in December. So those are for next month's Whip Go, which is kind of nice to know those when you're stitching along, just in case you were going to stitch on something. You're like, oh, I could wait until next month to stitch on that. That's where I'm at. I am pretty much done. I have some more digging to do. I pulled out my panic kits, and which means that I had to go in my hamper of doom. It's all my kitted stuff. So I need to put all that back. I need to cut bags. That's the immediate future. I have one more treat pulled out for Gunner since he's whining. I will give to him. And that's it. I'll see you in a couple weeks. Actually, you might see me next week. If I can get my poop in a group, I will do my whip parade sometime next week and upload it. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to come up with another poll for you guys, but we'll see. We'll see. I hope everyone's doing well. And I know it's getting chillier for everybody out there. It's been chillier here, and I'm actually loving it. Thank you. Hang in there. I know it's getting warmer in Australia. Sorry. You know, you forget about the upside down people down there. Take care. I'll see you in a couple weeks, if not next week. And don't forget, don't let anyone steal your sunshine.